In today's session, I'm sharing with you 4 handy tips on how to run a successful virtual classroom session or webinar. So let's say you're putting on a virtual session or a webinar, whatever you want to call it. It's in a virtual space. You have your slides all prepared, you know what activities you're going to do with your learners. Well, some of these tips are really going to help you make a successful session. So, first, it cannot be stressed enough. Practice. And make sure that also you're recording your practice, and make sure you check it out from the student view, from the learner view, because a lot of things can happen on your screen that don't happen on the learner's screen. For example, I once ran a session that had used a web tour. So what you're doing is you're showing learners a specific website online. This website had restricted access, so the instructor had inputted their information, but the students were not able to see anything past the login screen. So he went on for 15 minutes while we were all sitting there looking at this blank screen, hoping to get his attention. So make sure you're checking out what your students are seeing and what you're seeing, and if it matches, if the visuals you're using are showing up clearly on their side, and if they mean anything while you're talking. Also, get feedback. The reason is sometimes activities take way longer than you'd expect them to, so you need to cut that stuff down or eliminate some things. I'm not saying don't run long activities, but be cognizant of how long they take, and maybe some things can be incorporated with offline work that the students do on their own. And get feedback from somebody who is going to be honest with you. The reason I put my mom here is because I'm thinking that if somebody doesn't know anything about your session, let's say that's somebody like your mom, and you can keep them engaged and interested, and they can give you honest feedback at the end, then that's really what you're looking for. There will be some obstacles that you'll need to overcome when working with internet-based applications, so always have a plan B ready. And the plan B needs to take form of 2 things. One of them is communication. So if you're going to somehow get disconnected and the session ends early, or you don't get a chance to go through all of the material or all of the activities that you wanted to do in your session, how are you going to communicate with your learners? So make sure you have their email addresses, and you can follow up with slides, or that you have a discussion or an activity that they can do after that session. Also, if you do have downtime, like 10 minutes in your session where you're trying to figure out how some sort of technology works and you know it's going to take some time, prepare ahead of time some activities that learners can be doing to support your session in that downtime. So you're not wasting the time, and you're actually maximizing the time they're together to get the most out of their collaborative juices. This one's pretty important. Being patient. You're going to experience difficulty, and it's okay. The only person who knows that there's a script and a certain flow to the session is you. So relax, you can skip things, go back, send out emails with missing information after, it's okay. Also, the biggest thing is don't blame the technology. Nobody wants to hear that. So don't freak out and say, oh, this failed us again, this happened 2 years ago or 2 weeks ago. Don't worry about that. Just, let your learners know that you're experiencing some difficulties. Tell them to hold on, it's going to take some time, and you're going to figure it out. Make sure you're putting your mic on mute, and then troubleshoot. Also, if you're doing something that's a little bit out of the ordinary for your usual virtual session, like you're running a new type of activity, write down the steps for yourself, which things to do, which buttons to press, because sometimes when we're in autopilot, we will actually draw a blank in that virtual space because you're so anxious about getting things going. So prepare a list ahead of time if it's new to you. And remember to breathe, and let everybody know that you're there to support them, and if you're having difficulties, be honest about it, because then people aren't left in limbo waiting for you to talk. So to recap, to run a really successful virtual session, make sure you practice, get feedback, you have a plan B, and be patient. And if you have some of your own awesome advice and experiences, post it in the comments below. I think beside me you'll see some videos you might want to click if you haven't seen them before, and please subscribe to our channel.